So in order to start, I would like to show you a video to introduce this article. I'm sorry with my camera. Okay. This article is about this, it's not about the woman, it's about the girl. If I'm not wrong, she's a French woman, but she's a young French girl. Her name is Brooke. So Brooke is the youngest climber ever existed. And we're going to watch the next video about her, and we're going to read the article. This is real. She's the youngest climber. So you can see she's just a little girl, but she 11-year-old. But well, that was 10 years ago. Now she must be 10 or something. Okay, so we'll start watching this video so you can have some introduction about who she is, and then we'll read the article. Okay.
A face that you've seen all over the youth and the adult bouldering and sport national.
Is on Team ABC from Boulder, Colorado. She is one of the two youngest competitors here. She is the overall youth world champion.
Brooke Raboutou swooping over to the finish on women's two. There it is for Brooke Raboutou. 1, 2, 2 in a row for Brooke Raboutou.
Brooke has got a long future, I predict, here.
Certainly one of the most experienced competitors in U.S. competitions, being the daughter of Robin Erbisfield Raboutou and Didier Raboutou, both World Cup competitors, both with winning records.
So we were just talking about like pictures of Brooke when she was little. I think we have a couple. So this is Brooke's, it's like dusty, Brooke's first lead climb. Well, she was top rope. Look how little she was. She must have been 2. Just all smiles. This is how Sean and Brooke became strong for climbing, doing gymnastics. And look, she's like missing all of her teeth. Brooke's room.
Let's do something. So here is a documentary, right? So here, try to check the present perfect, and the present perfect continues with the other past tenses. So she says, right, where I think that's her mom. Okay, and there she's showing a photo of her daughter. Here you see that in the captions. One moment. Captions are a little bit small. Okay, it says she must have been, right? She must have been 2. She must have been. Es como debió de. En esta foto debe haber tenido 2 años. 2 años.
This is her first lead climb. Well, she was top rope. Look how little she was. She must have been 2.
2 years old, and she was climbing. Maybe she learned to climb before she learned to speak.
Just all smiles. This is how Sean and Brooke became strong for climbing, doing gymnastics. And look, she's like missing all of her teeth. Brooke's room. We got her most recent trophy from World Championships. Anyway, we can't stay in here very long because she might not like that. Lots of memories from the kids. Let's see, go downstairs. My name's Robin Erbisfield Raboutou. 2 last names. One's my maiden name, one's my married name. Proud of both of those, so I tend to call myself.
Do you know the meaning of
Stairs. My name's Robin Erbisfield Raboutou. 2 last names. One's my maiden name, one's my married name.
You know what is the meaning of maiden name and married name?
Nombre de soltera.
Exactly, that's the maiden. Very well. So I think it's pronounced Raboutou or something. Well,
proud of both of those, so I tend to call myself Robin Erbisfield Rabatou. My high school boyfriend introduced me to climbing. So I was 17 years old. There were very few girls that climbed at the time. And I remember they put me on a 5'8", and I did it, and they were all just like, wow. So that's what kicked off my climbing, and then I really took climbing seriously from that point on, until finally I got a phone call from Todd Skinner in 1989 asking if I wanted to present myself at the first World Cup in Leeds, England. And I was like, sure, I'll go.
Robin entered that competition and won, first time in a comp. So that's how she came onto the scene.
I feel like she knew what she needed to do to win, and so then she did that. She's very
and won, first time in a comp. So that's how she came onto the scene.
I feel like she
So here we have the this phrasal verb checked here.
Robin entered that competition and won, first time in a comp. So that's how she came onto the scene.
You see, come onto scene. So this is like salió a escena.
I feel like she knew what she needed to do to win, and so then she did that. She's very competitive. If she wants to win, she's probably gonna win.
Whatever she sets her mind to, she's going to work pretty hard at achieving whatever goal it is.
The first time we met was in Paris, in competition in a city called Massy.
Our chairs were behind the wall, and he was getting his shoes on while I was getting my shoes on. We were getting tied in, and I remember he was using puff, and he was squeaking his La Sportiva, eek, eek, eek. I was like, what are you doing? Is that the magic? Is that why you're so strong? And he was like, well, it's part of my tactic, you should try it. And so he let me use it, and then he actually let me keep it. From that moment on, I had my eyes on Didier, and I think it took a full year to get him out of the girlfriend and hooked on me.
I don't think it was ever a point where I realized, I was oh, my parents were really good at climbing. It's just wow, your parents are professional rock climbers. Isn't that cool to have them? I'm yeah, it's pretty cool. Kind of just grew up knowing that,
I started really winning everything in 1992.
Well, she was so focused and so driven. Her goal is to become #1, and what she did.
If you come into a competition with that kind of confidence, people are going to be intimidated. They're going to believe that she's right, that she is going to win. And she tells herself that story, and that is empowering. Whether it's true or not, it doesn't matter. It can be true if you believe it.
It'd be really difficult to imagine with Robin and Didier's genes not creating strong climbers. When Brooke started climbing around age 2 in diapers, everyone kind of knew this could be something amazing.
It was probably 2-ish when I first started climbing, kind of just when I was walking. I feel I remember having a little wall in our basement kind of, and just climbing up it. It's part of their lives, might as well be part of mine.
When ABC came along, it started becoming even more of a realization that Brooke could be a phenomenal climber.
There was no question that Robin was going to start her own gym.
Basically, our concept was to build a mini climbing facility. Our programs are starting at 2 and going to 7 initially. Sean and Brooke were kind of the stars of the program.
Brooke and Sean was involved in ABC since day one.
The ABC program, I think, was the brainchild of Robin and Didier, in large part because there was nothing really available for kids at the time, and she wanted her kids to have a place to go climb and a community to go climb with. Also, to just help kids climbing in general.
How she was really young back then. Well, here in the interview, she's an adult, a teenager in this part, but she's actually the girl that you see in this article. All right. By the way, you tell me if we have problems with the connection or something, because there's a storm. There was a storm last night, so if you see I have problems with the connection or something, let me know so I can move. I moved from the room I was because usually there are problems. It's kind of hidden from the Wi-Fi internet. Okay, so well, we continue checking here.
To do school at a high level, to do climbing at a high level, it helps balance you out. This season is career defining for a lot of athletes. Everybody wants to have the chance to go to the Olympics.
At the beginning of the season, there was definitely a group of us that people thought had a shot at the Olympics, but there was no one person that was like for sure going.
Washington, D.C., the nation's capital, is a very fitting location for the top climbers in the country because at the end of the day, we will have a much better idea about who might represent the United States at the 2020 Summer Olympics. It's the second and final day of the 2019 USA Climbing Sport and Speed Open National Championships.
Sport and Speed Nationals was really important because it was really that final moment that determined the U.S. national team. The most stressful part is getting into finals, and then I can really have fun and perform my best. I feel like it's important to be able to take that pressure and turn it into like power versus stress.
Brooke Raboutou is looking to lock up one of those 4 spots on the U.S. overall national team, which is the first big step in getting herself toward.
Maybe they look like they don't climb mountains, right? Maybe the competition is about climbing like a sport where you have a wall and you need to climb, but still, well, she's like very young for that. So now with this in mind, we're going to read this article, okay? I want to give you a reminder with the regular verbs, you know that, for example, in the case of the present perfect, okay, present perfect, you have the auxiliary have or has. So remember that have is for the pronouns I, you, they, we. And has is for the pronouns on he, she, and it. So then you would need to use a verb in past participle. This is for the present perfect. Okay. So a verb in past participle. And that's it. Okay. So the verb in past participle can be with a regular or an irregular verb. For example, I have borrowed some money. He pedido prestado dinero. So the verb borrow is regular, but you see that I don't pronounce borrow with, right? So be careful because we have the pronunciation, we have rules for the pronunciation in the regular verbs. If you have an irregular verb, the pronunciation is not the problem, but you need to remember the irregular verb. For example, you would say in this case, I have swum before. So in this case is the verb swim, and you need to remember how's that, you know, swim. In past you say swam. In past participle you would say swam, swim, swam, swam, swim, swam, swam. So the one that you need is the third one, not the simple past. You need to use the past participle if it is an irregular verb. So yes, that's the complication, let's say, of these things. So it's very important that at this moment you already know the irregular verbs. Okay, so with this, I mean, with the pronunciation of the past, I mean that you, for example, you read like this. For example, she has incredibly strong fingers. No, where it is? Okay, for example, here you have the verb dream. So dream will be pronounced not dreameth, right? You would say dreamed, dreamed. I have shown you a few rules of the pronunciation of the verbs that end in ed, right? So the verbs that end in ed, depending on the last letter, for example, if you have dream, so that finishes in the letter M, sorry. So here when you say dream at the end, so it's a soft vowel that has voice. So this voice en la letra M tiene voz. So you would pronounce not dream it, but you would say only dreams, como si no sé. Well, what the rule says that the ed that becomes a d. Yo digo a los alumnos que normalmente se imaginen que no tiene la última e, so they pronounce dream. Now, if you have another example for like worked, so you see you will pronounce worked and not worketh, right? So in this case, the K is we could say a strong unvoiced consonant. Es una consonante sin voz, right? Because when I pronounce it, it can be the K, the P, or any other consonant like this, then it doesn't make my vocal cords vibrate, so they don't vibrate. And so that's why it's an unvoiced consonant. So in this case, the ed, according to this, becomes a T. Entonces, la determinación de suena como T. In this case, also don't pronounce the E. You don't say worked, you say worked. And the only exception is when you have the T. For example, want, and you say wanted. Or when you have the D, end, so the verb would be ended. Those are the only exceptions. Okay. That's about the present perfect. What about the present perfect continuous? The present perfect continuous, just like we learned yesterday, is very similar, right? But this is the formula. The present perfect continuous. So here you have, has, then the verb in past participle, but in this case, the verb in past participle is only one, and it's always been, and a verb in ing. For example, I have been, let's say, I have been living in Mexico City all my life. Okay, so this sentence could also be, I have lived in Mexico City all my life. They are the same. This is a kind of sentence where when you use the present perfect, doesn't make any difference. Tú puedes decir, he vivido o he estado viviendo. But remember that when you use the present perfect continuous, it sounds more, you're emphasizing the action for the time that you have been doing the action, like it's something surprising or you want to be emphatic. All right, so you say, he estado viviendo en México, en Ciudad de México toda mi vida. So in this case, sounds more emphatic than the simply saying, I have lived. Okay. So yes, the present perfect continuous, we could use it when we are talking about an action that happened in the past, that still happens in the present, and probably will still continue in the future. That's why it's called perfect, right? Those present perfect y present perfect continuous, digamos que son algo que hice en el pasado, continúa en el presente, y en el caso del presente perfecto continuo quiere decir que se ha hecho de forma ininterrumpida, right? Como que enfatiza eso, y probablemente se siga haciendo en el futuro. Okay. So, very well. So that's pretty much the review of the present perfect and the present perfect continuous. Now we're going to read this article. We already watched the video, and now we're going to read this article. about Brooke. So you can see here, she's a little girl. In the video, that is like 3 months or 9 months ago, she's already a woman, like in her 20s. And did you check, like in the picture of the woman, do you remember when she started climbing? The picture that the woman showed about her?
2 years ago.
When she was 2 years old. Yes, exactly. So when she was 2, she was trying to climb when she was 2. Okay, well, so we'll read the paragraph, but remember to use the pronunciation, what I explained you, right? The correct pronunciation for the ed verb. So, okay, let's read. I would like to first ask Uriel, can you please help us read the first paragraph? Okay, maybe Laura, you want to help us read the first paragraph? Okay, so that leaves us with Miguel, please. Could you help us read this first paragraph?
Yes, teacher.
Okay, thanks.
A natural-born climber. Brooke Rabot has just turned 12, and she is one of the best rock climbers in the world. With 7 world records, one of her coach explains why she's so good. She has incredible strong fingers, he says. He adds that she also has the flexibility of a child. This really helps in climbing. It means she can do things other climbers have never dreamed of doing. Practice also helps. Brooke has been climbing regularly since she was 4 years old.
Good. I will only correct, maybe here we say since.
Since.
Okay, very well. And all right, and here we have present perfect, right? Here it says other climbers have never dreamed of doing. And we have present perfect continuous, has been climbing regularly since she was 4. Well, here, the woman in the interview said 2, but here she says 4.
Yes, teacher.
Okay, very well. So, do you have any questions about the vocabulary here?
No, teacher.
Okay, so, well, we're going to continue with the next paragraph. Michelle, can you help us read, please, the second paragraph?
Brooke comes from a climbing family. Both of her parents are climbing champions. Her father has stopped climbing, but her mother, Robin, who won the World Cup title 4 years in a row, is still climbing. She has been running a club for young climbers in Colorado since.
Yes.
Sorry, el número no sé, teacher.
You can say 2005, or you can say 20, then you say 05, 2005 or 2005.
She coached Brooke and her teammates.
Yes, very well. So, any questions about the vocabulary in this article?
Teammates, teacher, what means?
Teammates. So a mate is un compañero. Okay, so when you say workmate, a workmate, so it's from your work. So teammate is someone from your team. And when you only use the word mate, is una pareja. So you have workmate, teammate, right? So someone who is in your team and someone who is in your work, like workmate. Good. We'll ask Itzel now, please, for the next paragraph.
Yes, teacher. Brooke?
Brooke.
There's Brooke. Brooke said
Let's
her
get
mom
Brooke.
is a great coach. He's a great coach. She encourages me a lot.
Encourage, I would say, certainly, we would say encourage.
Encourage.
And with the third person, is she encourages.
Okay,
Encourages.
she encourages me a lot. She has me really good.
In this case, she gives me.
She gives me really good advice. Rock says she just a big part of my climbing life. Continúa?
Climbing life, yes. Continue, please.
Okay. Robin can be straight, but she is also passionate.
Passionate.
Passionate. She has been passing this passion on to her daughter, and students for years.
Excellent. Okay. Very well. Any questions about this paragraph?
What is encourages? Después de she
Okay, encourage, and in this case, encourages. She encourages is animar a alguien, like motivate someone. Motivate someone. Okay. Yes, so that's her mom, right? Because we saw in the documentary, we saw her. And do you remember how her mom started climbing? Because she started because of her mom. But why did the mom start climbing? Because of an ex-boyfriend. An ex-boyfriend, when she was like 17 or something, right, introduced her to this world of climbing. And she liked it, and she participated in championships. Okay, by the way, here we have an expression that is pass on to. Pass on to. It says she has been passing this passion on to her daughter. So, well, this basically means que ella le ha pasado esta pasión a su hija, right? So you say pass on to, you can be, for example, someone older, like a teacher, or you can be a father, and you pass on to things to your son, to your daughter, to your children. For example, when you say, could be your son is very polite, is very well educated. So in this case, it's they could tell you pass on to him. You passed on to him, como que tú le pasaste esas cualidades a tu hijo. Right? Okay. Very well. Let's read the next paragraph. Please, Heidi, could you read it? Brooke. Okay, or maybe, yes. Sorry, this paragraph, please. We're going to read.
Me, teacher?
Yes.
Brooke is very determined. Always been very motivated. This helped her when she's facing the challenge of this difficult sport. She's also hardworking. She hasn't gotten to the top of her sport by sitting around. To be a really good climber, you can't just have it. You have to train really hard. So I take it pretty seriously. Brooke says, and that's what Brooke has been doing every day, at the club and at home. She even has a climbing wall in her basement.
Okay. All right, so check, we have here the word and we pronounce determined. That's one of the qualities that we check, remember, when we started this unit? Motivated. Do you see any word here that you don't understand? Or you maybe don't know the pronunciation very well?
Seriously?
Seriously.
Seriously.
Yes, seriously. Okay, very well. So seriously, take it pretty seriously. Se lo tomen muy en serio. Any other word in this paragraph? You know, basement. Yes, do you know basement?
No. I don't remember.
No? Well, that's like under your house. Well, under some houses, people have a basement.
Sótano.
El sótano.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. That's a basement. All right. Well, we read this last paragraph. Please, Nubia, could you help us read it?
Yes, teacher. But climbing isn't only hard work, it's funny too. When I'm on a high rock, I feel in control and just happy. Brooke says, and when I look down, I'm not scared because I'm not scared of heights, but it's just so cool to think how small I am compared to the rock and how high up I am.
Very well. Excellent. So, well, I think we only have the word here, scared, compared. You see pronunciation, scared, compared. Any questions in this paragraph?
Nothing.
Okay, well, now we have a couple of questions for this article we need to complete. So Brooke, it says the number one is a good climber because she has three things.
Strong fingers.
Very well, strong fingers. What else? Okay, here in this case, it's incredibly strong fingers and of a child. What is that? Of
flexibility.
Flexibility, yes. Flexibility of a child. You know, I realized that I'm not flexible at all. I've noticed that even for me, sometimes stretch myself, it's difficult. I can't do it. I'm not flexible. Well, let's see. Okay, the number 2. This is Brooke's parents are both
Climbers.
climbers. Her mom won the
World Cup.
Yes, World Cup title. The World Cup for what, 4 years in a row. Do you know the expression in a row?
No, teacher.
In a row is like continuously, non-stop, como al hilo. So 4 years in a row. It's like she won the first year, she won the second year, she won the third and the fourth year. All right, her mom won the World Cup 4 years in a row. Okay. It says Brooke's mom is still
climbing.
Climbing, very well. And she has run A for John Climber since. In this case, the verb run no es correr, es como manage, administrar. She has been running a club. Okay. She has run a club for young climbers since
2005.
2005. Next. Brooke thinks her mom is good at coaching because she Sorry?
Encourage her.
Exactly, because she, the word, right?
Really good advices.
Encourages her and gives her advice. Very well. Finally, when she's up high on a rock, Brooke feels rock es como es montaña, right? And you can see rock or you can see mountain. Brooke feels in how does she feel when she's on a rock?
In control.
In control and happy. She isn't
scared.
Exactly. Okay. She isn't scared. So as you can see, this is a real story, a real documentary. Well, most of the stories in the book, I know what happened. I think we made some spelling mistakes like the last time. Climbing championships, World Cup. We forgot the capital letters. She isn't scared of heights. Okay, good guys. Well, now I send you some vocabulary that we saw with this article. Now it's time to talk about you, about your achievements, about your passions, which is very interesting. All right. So first, we're going to analyze this chart that I sent you about expressions that we use with the present perfect. I had explained to you before, but it's good that you have this picture. So we have here the expressions with present perfect. Okay, so there it is. We have, for example, here, first one is just. What is the meaning of just? Do you remember? What is the meaning of just?
Apenas justamente, o sea.
Exactly, something that is recent. Algo que acaba de suceder. Okay, so like we have just finished. Acabamos de terminar la película. All right. And this is very useful, this chart, because it tells you where to place the expression. So in this case, just, you need to write just between have and has and the main verb. We have just, que decir que just no puede ir al inicio. Okay, no podemos cambiar just de posición. So here they're telling you where to write this expression. So that's just. You can also use just in the simple past. You can say, I just finished, or I have just finished. We have already. Already means what's the meaning of already?
Que ya se hizo. Ya.
Very well. Yeah, exactly. And you is the same as just. You need to place it between have and has in the main verb. Still.
Todavía.
Todavía. Excellent. Okay. So you can use it like this example, right? Pete aún o todavía no ha estado en Italia. Okay. Yet is todavía o ya, but we use it in negative expressions or in questions only. Yet is only for questions or negative. Pete hasn't been to Italy yet. Or for the question, has Pete been to Italy yet? Ever. What is the meaning of ever? There's not like a literal translation, right? When I ask, have you ever, in the question, have you ever, is si alguna vez en tu vida, right? So that is ever, the same, between the verb. Notice that some verbs, for example, still, they go before having has. Some others go after having has, and some other expressions go to the end of the sentence. You see? Okay, never, we know never. What is the meaning of for?
Desde.
Okay, very well. And we have since too. No, pero for is por, right? And since sería desde. Okay, just pay attention. I don't know why, but just try to pronounce since. Maybe you are confusing with the word science, que es ciencia, science, right? But this you pronounce only since. Okay, very well. So you can use these again when you talk about your experiences or events that happen in the past and in undetermined time. Okay, I send you another picture. Okay, that is vocabulary about a professional, like some skills and some qualities that you use in a laboral context. The first one is public speaking. That's a quality. We have public speaking, flexibility, teamwork, communication, time management, leadership, personal skills. Now, please tell me which of these qualities can help to lead a team? Which of these qualities help leading a team? ¿Cuáles de esas cualidades ayudaría mejor a liderar un equipo?
Leadership.
Leadership, exactly. That's leadership. Which of these will help you to get along with other people? Get along es llevarse bien with other people in the team. Be collaborative.
Teamwork.
Teamwork. Teamwork es trabajo en equipo. That's not really a quality, that is a skill, una habilidad. All right. In the professional context, which of these for you is the easiest and which one is the most complicated? Like at work, imagine you, we're talking about your job, wherever you work. So which of these for you, which of these qualities that appear here are for you the easiest ones and which ones are the most difficult? Communication is the easiest for you, Michelle, or is the most difficult?
Sorry?
Communication is easy or difficult for you?
It's easy.
Easy. Okay, very well. Here when you talk about communication, it refers to, I mean, the way you approach to the person, right? Approach. Esto se utiliza, por ejemplo, a veces incluso en las ventas, cuando dicen, I like your approach, me gusta tu approach, eso se refiere, me gusta cómo, es decir, cómo te acercas, abordas a las personas o las, bueno, les introduces el tema de la venta, right? So, well, the communication is maybe not like if you're able to speak or not, but that you can communicate or that you can convey, que puedes transmitir lo que quieres, right? De forma efectiva. That's communication. Okay, and guys, which one is the most difficult for you? ¿Cuál de estos sería más difícil para ustedes? Public speaking, flexibility, teamwork, communication, time management, leadership, or personal skills? Well, personal skills, I don't know what could be, it's like very general. But from these 6, which one is the most difficult for you? For example, for me, the most difficult would be time management. I need to work on that. What about you? Which one is the most difficult of these qualities for you at work?
Teacher, who is time management?
Time management es organizar el tiempo, ser capaz de organizar tu tiempo.
Ah, okay, teacher.
So yes, that's something I personally need to improve my time management. And you?
I think it's sometimes difficult communication with other people.
Yes, that's key. Okay. Maybe say public speaking. Yes, public speaking is difficult. Well, here we have some other qualities. Can you please help us read, Nubia, the ones on the left column?
Yes, teacher. Flexibility, passion, integrity, perseverance, pride, resourceful. Now how can I
it's a
pronounce?
difficult word. It's resourcefulness. Resourcefulness.
Resourcefulness, common sense, cooperation.
Yes, very well. Something that helps you with these difficult words is to check where is the stress, donde está como la sílaba tónica, right? The stress of the word. For example, flexibility. So it's here, right? Flexibility. Patience. Integrity. We say perseverance. It's here. Perseverance. Pride. Resourcefulness. Aquí estaría la sílaba tónica. Resourcefulness. Aquí en source. Resourcefulness. Cooperation. Do you have any questions about this vocabulary? From the left side.
Excuse me, teacher. What means resourcefulness?
Resourcefulness, it's like ingenio. It's like intelligence. But it's like the ability to work out problems in an intelligent way, como que resolver problemas de manera creativa. That's resourcefulness, ser ingenioso. Pero ese es el sustantivo. Resourceful is the quality. Resourceful. Resourceful is alguien ingenioso. Resourcefulness is the quality. And if you want, these are nouns, but the adjectives, what are the qualities? Flexible, patient, integral, perseverant. Pride is a little bit weird in this case because pride, you know the meaning of pride?
Orgullo.
Orgullo, yeah. So I think that here, well, they are meaning like self-love. Self-love, like maybe not really pride, but maybe self-confidence. Como confianza. O puede referirse también al orgullo de pertenecer a tu empresa, right? Self-confidence or pride. But we talk about the person, we use proud. Proud is orgulloso. Okay. Resourcefulness, resourceful. You know common sense? What is the meaning of common sense?
Sentido común.
Exactly. And how could we call a person who shows cooperation? ¿Cómo se llama una persona que muestra cooperación? Similar to Spanish?
Cooperative.
Cooperative, exactly. So here we're going to change the nouns to adjectives. Vamos a cambiar los sustantivos a adjetivos. Okay. Miguel, could you please read the vocabulary on the right side, please?
Yes, teacher. Courage, tolerance, directness of, I can see, teacher, the second part. Okay.
You can see it?
Yes. Directness of purpose, responsibility, initiative, friendship, curiosity, sense of humor.
Okay, very well. All these qualities are like people for professionals, right? Okay, so courage. What is the meaning of courage and what is the adjective?
Courage is coraje, carácter.
Yes, it's like brave, similar a ser valiente, right? Brave, courage. But how you call a person with this quality? If I say you have courage, then that means that you are. You are. In this case, the adjective is
encourage.
Courageous. Courageous. So courage is like valentía, courageous. But here I would say maybe courageous, you can also have boldness. Boldness and both. Boldness is more, it also means valentía, but it's like more professional, I think, than courage, because it's like when people feel, you feel them natural and they look natural while speaking in public, como esas personas que hablan en público o con personas importantes, digamos, y no se notan los nervios. So you say, oh, you're very bold. You're very bold, like, tienes un temple. No, creo que sí es. Well, so courageous. How do we call someone who has tolerance? So the person is?
Tolerant.
Tolerant. Very well. Directness of purpose. Directness of purpose is like being objective. Ser objetivo. Objetivo, right? That you are not going there, here and there, like going nowhere, but you are objective, como que no pierdes el hilo. Okay. Responsibility, so a person who shows responsibility is?
Responsible.
Responsible, excellent. Initiative, well, the initiative, well, in this case, I think is, I don't think we have an adjective, but you say show initiative. Mostrar iniciativa, or you can say have initiative, tener iniciativa. Okay, friendship. We could say that person who is friendly. Curiosity, a person who has curiosity is curious, exactly. Sense of humor. What is sense of humor?
Sentido del humor.
Exactly. How can we call a person that has sense of humor, but more like in a professional context, because we don't want them to be funny necessarily, but how do we call someone who has a good sense of humor and that usually attracts other people? How can we call a person with sense of humor?
Funny.
Well, I think in professional, you could even use the expression charismatic, right? Well, so you have, this is charisma, and you say charismatic, a person who, in a professional context, can make you laugh and can laugh with you. Okay, guys, well, so we are done for today. There's still the other picture, but you can check it later. Those are also some interesting qualities that we can use as professionals. So, well, thank you so much for joining us today, and see you then in the next class.
Thank you.